Mid-game, got some good picks with it, and were able to turn the game around and really had control.
Yeah, managed to pick up that first sneaky Baron there as well. It just all tended to fall apart when OMG just decided to destroy them in that final team fight. A little bit unfortunate, but we'll see whether Gamtee have any new plans as we hop into Champion Select here. And already the bans coming through. 2 supports from Gamtee, Thresh and Janna being taken off the board, and Azir and Xerath off the board for OMG. So a lot of power picks still up.
Yeah, if this is a 3rd support, I'm going to be pretty happy, because it looks like Synctream is trying to bring Low down to his level and beat him with experience on the unorthodox support picks. But looks like Aurelia being taken off the board, so maybe a first pick Rumble coming out of Let Me?
Yeah, potentially. Could be looking for something like that. Rek'Sai going to be taken off the board here as well by OMG. One of those sort of must bans.
Might also be a Kassadin here. Aurelia deals very well with Kassadin in the top lane, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is something they took as a flex pick, trying to, I guess,
how does Rumble
Kassadin
go?
In Kassadin's favor by a long way.
Well, and that'd be why Let Me has just locked that one in. Can go into the hands of Xiaohu as well if he wants to pick that one up. Very good on these assassins. It does leave Going able to pick up that Rumble yet again if he wants to, but Annie's the lookout here. Did get banned away in their first game. They do not want Synctream picking that one up.
Yeah, so Annie being picked up. Synctream, fantastic at roaming. We'll see if Low can replicate that. The reason Kassadin wins out against Rumble so heavily is because 3 points into that Q mitigates all of the Flame Spitter damage and then just trades so well with the E.
Oh, yeah, and the W as well on top of that. Synctream looking to lock in that Leona straight away, wanting to hard engage on this Annie.
Yeah, definitely. Annie, one of the squishiest support left in the game. So having a Leona in there and you throw in a Vi on top, they've got a lot of lockdown CC for an assassin to follow up on.
And this is danger with Lee Sin available, opting to go for a different jungler. And we'll see how he's managed to sort of put Vi into his repertoire. We saw him play very, very well on his Lee Sin in the last game, actually managing to pick up first blood for Xiaohu there in that mid lane with a really nice gank, and Vi definitely has some pick potential.
Yeah, certainly does, and everything is left open for this mid lane. Actually looks like they will let Cool maybe counter pick that, opting to go with Uzi's potential Kalista pick here. And also a Morgana, so that could be a top lane Annie or maybe a top lane Morg.
But we were just having a conversation about this previously, is that the reason you sort of wait until late to pick that Kalista up is because you don't want to have to deal with the likes of Vi jumping onto your face. What happens? Danger picks Vi, and Uzi says, all right, well, I'll just pick it straight into it.
Yeah, exactly right. And Lissandra is also up. You throw a Lissandra into the top lane, all of a sudden you've probably got the best team comp to deal with Kalista. LeBlanc also does that relatively well. And of course, Tail going to be reasonably safe on this Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal and Leona there for the bottom lane is an opportunity, but the Tristana's being looked at here as well, and I like that pickup. Of course, you can punish the Kalista pick if you make it to that epic late game stage.
They've got the anti-Uzi team comp coming through here. The only thing he has is a potential Morgana Black Shield, so I'd expect that to maybe be in the mid lane or top lane to try and get some farm onto Morgana, so it's hard to burst through. But once they do, they are going to rip Uzi to shreds. And if this is a team comp they're opting for, there is not enough damage on OMG if Uzi goes down.
Yeah, and where's Morgana going? Because Annie was already locked in. Is that going to be an Annie mid lane here for Cool potentially, or is he going to be taking the Morgana there? Are we going to see some Flandre action in the top lane? What is going on? There's 2 junglers and 2 supports and Uzi on Kalista. That is what this OMG lineup is right now, and we'll just see how it all meshes out. Going, looking to pick up that Jarvan into the top lane, a bit of energy pacemaker flavor here, amazing J style coming through onto that one, and Cool mid lane Morgana. Yeah, so these Black Shields are going to be huge.
Yeah, they actually have a very good top lane matchup. Jarvan does extremely well against the Kassadin in a 1v1. Kassadin cannot trade with Jarvan because of the Q passive that comes through. And also, Morgana versus Lissandra isn't a bad matchup. You both do exactly the same thing. You both repetitively shove out. You can get some points into that Q early as Morg, so you do a lot of damage if you do manage to catch someone out. And then, as I said in the last game that we saw it with actually Flandre picking it up in the top lane, if you ult first and Kalista ults straight away, the timing is that she comes out of stasis to be stunned. So not a bad decision here for Cool. And they're running actually a double teleport.
So Cool going to be picking up that teleport there as well in the mid lane. But we were talking about, Gamtee perhaps mixing it up. OMG looks to have a completely different style going into this game. And, man, I am so confused to see how this game works out because Uzi looks to be the focus here, but OMG have a lot of extra pick potential and damage potential. A damaged Jarvan in the top lane is ridiculous.
Yeah, he will actually probably have to go a little bit tankier to be able to deal with the late game Tristana, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's get onto the Rift and check out Game 2. And we are on the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, with Gamtee taking on OMG for Game 2. Gamtee looking to make this one a tie, and OMG looking to try and get that spot up near the top as well. Being pushed off that #1 position by EDG. Now wanting to reclaim it as best they can. Unable to do so with this victory, but it is definitely going to get them one step further.
Yeah, and looking for an early invade group Dis 5. They actually have a very good level 1. Tail will spot them out, so not much happening here, but will force them out of the red side of their jungle.
Yeah, and Sonic Wave almost landing, grazing the rocket in Tail's backpack there. Going to place a ward on this Krug there as well, so OMG control of this red side jungle. Going to be answered by Gamtee as they have 3 members up here on the top side wanting to spot out a potential lane swap. And whose favor does this go in? As it is Kalista versus a Tristana here. And the level 3 potential of Tristana Leona is actually quite high.
Yeah, it's really high. It's funny that you mentioned that because they have a great level 3 combo. Not a bad level 6 as well. It's singling out a squishy Annie. However, you can also say the same thing if they're able to get onto Tristana. I actually think it will be Uzi and Low looking for a lane swap here just because of what you mentioned. They do have very good high damage burst potential if they're able to get on someone. And if anyone can kill a Kalista in a passive stun, it will be a Leona-Tristana combination. They just do so much magic damage.
Oh, actually, Uzi might be spotted out here. Forced to use that flash very early on. Just a little bit outside of our vision range just here, but took half of his health and blue flash as the minion waves are crashing together, and Annie's nowhere to be seen. Gamtee have a free lane.
Yeah, Gamtee looking to move up zone Kalista off as much experience as possible. Need to make sure they don't go over-aggressive because there's a possibility now that Lee Sin, with that level 2, can loop in for a gank, and stun is available, I believe, on Annie, so they need to be careful.
Actually, Sync Dream hanging around here as well. Wants to get a ward in some brushes. Does manage to get it there, but it doesn't spot out Loveling and Low, who are looking around here. Tail, only level 1, unable to use that rocket jump unless he hasn't skilled anything up yet. Using that heal, actually, already. Low has the stun, misses it here. And they aren't going to be able to secure that first blood just yet. Oh, Dark Binding just going wide here from Cool in the mid lane. Yeah, and so this is an odd matchup.
Yeah, so double summoner spells used in the bottom lane by Gamtee. Their Tail has absolutely nothing available. So after having a good win level 1 against Uzi, now on the back foot once again. Not a great news story. And in the mid lane, this is just going to be a farm fest. Very low kill potential out of both these mid laners until level 6 comes around.
Yep, puddles of doom being thrown down here. Sync Dream takes a lot of damage from that passive to come out of Kalista using her W there. Yeah, not just for the Sentinels. At
level 2 with Explosive Shot and the Rocket Jump coming through, I actually think they might be able to fight here. Let's see if they go aggressive.
Yeah, Zenith Blade and Shield of Daybreak are both now available for Sync Dream if he wants to use them. Just going to go up and use that Relic Shield in order to get some money down. Ward there on the bottom side brush. Uzi not opting to use that Ren to get some extra damage onto Sync Dream, and he's got a lot of health regen.
Yeah, he certainly has. Being able to get in there as that tanky Leona, maybe waiting on a level 3 before he goes in for any aggressive action. And this giving the lane back to Uzi. Tail starting to struggle here.
Yeah, Tail unable to really get up to these creeps. 16 CS now to 10 in that bottom side, and it's only stretching as the wave pushing towards Gamtee, so they are going to be able to even it out just a little bit. Uzi able to ward out that Tri-Brush there as well.
Q was used. Danger will go here.
Yeah, actually, Danger's here, and he does have that Vault Breaker available. Going, might be forced to flash, is going to use it. Lemmy going to flash forward. The red buff, there's a Null Spear, but the shield is enough. And oh my goodness, Let Me doing the cool guys don't look at explosions, but there was no explosion. Yeah,
in the end, able to get out on a slither of health. Maybe a bit of a mistake for Danger to not follow that one up, but what it means is that Cassidy now, Daction in the bottom lane.
Yep, that is actually going to be Zenith Blade coming through. Low taking a lot of damage, and the Rend onto Sync Dream, a nice answer here as well. Health bars very similar on both sides, but this means that Leona are going to be far more unable to go in.
No, I think Leona actually has the advantage here. As soon as W comes back, would not be surprised if there was more aggression because still has the Ignite available, and the burst damage that comes out of Triss when she jumps in is actually very high, but Uzi extremely healthy. He's the one that's risky. Look for him to be up in their face.
Yeah, Uzi actually dancing around here as well, wanting to put on as much pressure into this Gamtee bottom lane as he can. Oh, the flash into the stun here from Low. Manages to get, is the Ren there? Yes, the Ignite picks up the kill from Low, and Sync Dream is now the option gone for by OMG. Beautiful play. Danger just a little bit late, as is Xiaohu. The Glacial Path is going to be here. Is Uzi going to be the target? The Q to come through. The teleport now as well. The flash from Xiaohu. Danger picks up a kill as well. Cool's here. He manages to pick up Sync Dream, but now it's 2 versus 1. The Black Shield, will see whether it's going to be enough, as Vault Breaker not quite available just yet. And Cool just takes a Q on his way out. Yeah,
so 2 for 2 in the end, but overall probably in favor of Gamtee because they got more support. Let's see if Loveling can make something happen in the top lane.
Yeah, only level 4 here on Lemmy. Dodges the flag and drag quite nicely as Sonic Wave's going to come through here. Does safeguard his way out. Lemmy picks up the kill though, and going now in a lot of trouble. Gets slowed down by the Force Pulse. Misses the spear as well, and Lemmy just says, bring it on, boys, I'm fine.
Yeah, going made an absolute meal out of that. Missed a flag and drag, then missed another Q on the back end. That was absolutely horrid Jarvan play coming out, and maybe the first chinks appearing in the OMG armor for this game.
Yeah, and Loveling probably a little bit disappointed about that one. Just said, oh man, I'm much better at Jarvan than you, dude. That would have been so much better. And then he had to die for it. Oh, how frustrating. But Uzi back into this lane, now has a recurve bow, so probably going to be going towards that Renan's Hurricane, unless he wants to get a Wit's End. Not entirely sure what else you can purchase with that item because, of course, Wit's End doesn't come out all that often. Danger, Gamtee, and with another really early dragon.
Yeah, so recognizing dragon, the jungler was off the map. They've got Sync Dream, though.
Yeah, Sync Dream in a lot of trouble. Did have his flash. The Ren's there as well. The slow to come down. We'll see whether it's going to be enough as Loveling trying to get it down. And Uzi secures that kill. Throws a Q at Tail here as well.
Yeah, cute move there by Tail, trying to get in front so that Uzi's auto attack would prioritize him if he was just A moving. But Uzi, too good, picks up the kill for himself. So that puts the bottom lane firmly in Uzi's favor. He's doubled the CS, and a lot of action happening so far on this map. You have to worry for OMG because they're definitely the more polished team, and if Gamtee can really start dictating pace of this game and really bring it down to a sloppy level, might be able to outperform them. But Uzi doubling the CS is looking rather good on Kalista.
But, you know, Tristana, that old insurance policy on this 4.2 patch hasn't gone through a rework just yet, and very, very strong with that draw a bead in the late game. And he's doing well on this top side and what was supposed to be a losing matchup.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was that turret dive that went awry after Gogoing got ganked early. And now the lane matchup, as you said, firmly in his favor, actually. So he's looking to get as much done as possible. Actually, a lot of people forget that Cassidy responds fairly well to AD laners just because of the fact it means he can level up his best ability in his E first and doesn't really have to focus on that Q. So does absolutely fine against AD.
Yep, and Uzi continuing to pressure this lane. There is a nice little ward to spot out any ganks to come through from Loveling, but he's making his way out from the top side. Let Me in the meanwhile, managing to get a friend in Xiaohu. And that Frozen Tomb is going to easily net them a kill.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, whilst Cool took teleport, it's Xiaohu that's been able to get around this map and really shove out the wave. Has that instantaneous wave push as opposed to Cool, who has to drop the puddle and make sure that it sits there for a while for the creeps to be able to go out. So good move early from Lissandra. This is good news. If they can get her going, will really make Uzi's life pretty hellish in the mid game just because of all the lockdown CC that will come through and setting themselves up for a nice, I guess, early power spike in the Lissandra.
Yep, Tail and Sync Dream trying to come back to this lane, not hitting level 6 just yet. You were mentioning the fact that they have a slight power spike as they get in there. Loveling going to make his way back out again as well.
Loveling actually looking for a flank in the mid lane. Might be a 2v2 fight.
Yeah, Glacial Path going to be used to get out here as well, but Vault Breaker's available, so Danger's not in too much trouble.
And Morella and Omicron now picked up for both mid laners, so they're reasonably the same amount of plays. The difference is Xiaohu's been able to get the rest of his team involved in this, and looks like actually bottom turret might be falling relatively soon. Level 6 has been reached for Uzi and Low, so if they can get the turret down and force an engage right now, they have the advantage. As soon as that Leona ultimate's picked up, though, you have to think it goes back in Gamtee's favor.
Yeah, but it is double the CS advantage at this stage here for Uzi. There's the flash into the tip as the rocket jump to come out beforehand. The arrow not going to find its mark, and OMG going to have to settle with a turret.
Yeah, and once again, leveling in this bottom lane, just making sure that they don't get aggressed on in response. Tail now has picked up level 6, so you have to think Sync Dream isn't too far behind him, and maybe even trying to bait in this brush, but they don't know that leveling is down there.
Yeah, there are a few wards defensively by Gamtee around their jungle, but may not see Loveling waiting in the wings. Explosive shot going to do a little bit of damage to Uzi, but Uzi's just feeling so comfortable in this lane.
Yeah, he certainly is. There's been absolutely nothing Tail has been able to do to pressure, and we mentioned that they had a pretty poor early game because of the Loveling pressure, and after that it just went from bad to worse with a couple of kills being picked up as well. So they need to make sure that they get Tristana as much farm as possible. He's actually going back to shop, has 1,850 gold, so not bad there for a first buy. Let's see, actually cancels the recall.
Yeah, not heading back just yet. Sync Dream going to go back. He's level 5 still. Probably not going to be able to affect this map unless he gets that level 6 or gets a really good flank, but standing on a ward isn't a way to do it as Glacial Path going to come through. He's actually going to get the Frozen Tomb onto Cool here as well. The Solar Flare to come in. Zhao who's going to fall down. No, he's not. Loveling gets destroyed by Danger, who comes in the nick of time. Let Me's there as well. The teleport to come through, and Cool, he's going to be okay. Low actually running super fast on this, and Danger gets locked up there a little bit. Dark Binding not going to find him. Soul Shackles there, immediately flashed out of.
They need to make sure that they don't get aggressed on in response, because they could turn this very quickly. Uzi actually coming in now.
Yeah, Fate's Call not going to be used by this Kalista, but they're going to transition this into more damage on this mid turret because Danger is so low, as is Let Me.
Yeah, so able to grab a turret. Actually, Going died in the top lane?
Yeah, I think Going was looking to get some extra damage on the turret.
Yeah, so actually executes here. So maybe a little bit of stress coming out in the OMG gameplay.
Oh,
Sync Dream.
Sync Dream, speaking of some stress, he's going to get rendered to death. Low actually picks up that kill with the Ignite. And this tower is in a lot of strife. Dark Binding lands onto Jahu here as well. And Low just gets obliterated as Let Me comes in. Loveling finishes up the kill under that Lysandra as another Dark Binding to come down. These skill shot combinations from Cool and Loveling are terrifying.
Yeah, so they're doing a very good job in this mid game. It looks like, in general, OMG might be a little bit upset because they're not playing to their usual high standard. It is a damage build that has come out of Going in the top lane, but he's not having the game that he would want. In a counter pick, has gone 0-2. Behind in farm, able to pick up the first turret, so all the outer turrets have gone down. That means a 2,000 gold advantage for OMG, but they're just not performing as a cohesive unit we're used to seeing.
Yep, Gamtee going to start off the second dragon here. The teleport from Cool coming down to the bottom side of that dragon as they want to start this one up. He might be in an unfortunate position, but the rest of Gamtee not quite available here. Frozen Tomb's up here for Zhao, who they want to come in for some sort of fight. Kassadin's down here as well. Loveling starting up this dragon. You don't want to let Uzi free hit this one now that he has that Renan's Hurricane, so much extra attack speed. And this is easily going to go to OMG.
Yeah, it certainly is. Looks like they're trying to trade a mid lane turret in response to it, get their first one of the game down. And it looks like they will be successful here. Need to be careful of the flank.
Flank could potentially be coming in. Going there in the top side of the map has his teleport, so he could come round as well. Just wants to get some damage on this turret. As Let Me's going to come through. Force Pulse doing a lot of work here now that that Rod of Ages has been finished off. And if there's a chase that you want to see, it's going to be between Kassadin and Jarvan, who both have so much movement. Beautiful Solar Flare. There is going to be the Shield of Daybreak, and Let Me get some help from his friends.
Yeah, and Danger, a little bit annoyed he didn't get an assist there. Taxes the lane like a very good jungler, so able to take that one away from his Kassadin. He's starting to actually scale up as well. Picked up that Trailblazer, looking to farm up his jungle. And in the bottom lane, the response is to try and dive tail one more time. They're really forcing this guy off a lot of CS.
Yeah, it does have a BF sword to his name, but that's about it in response to this Renan's Hurricane and the Berserker's Greave. So Uzi very strong at this stage on his Kalista.
Yeah, Uzi looks good. The problem is that there's just so much lockdown on the side of Gamtee that if they invest all in on Uzi, then they really don't have that much going for them, because we mentioned they lack damage. That was with Jarvan that was potentially going to go damage. Fight coming through.
Oh, there's the Fate's Call to come through as well. Low trying to get the tippers down as well. The red buff is doing a lot of work, but there's Xiaohu with massive damage. Tail picking up a kill, getting the resets. There's a double now. He has another rocket jump if he wants it. Dark Binding going to find Sync Dream, but that means Tail not going to be CC'd here, as Cool is going to back away and Tail going to do the same.
Yeah, didn't get the slow, so was unable to continue chasing that one because the rest of his team wasn't going to be able to catch up. So nice decision there, but all of a sudden, 2-1-1, 40 CS behind. Tail looking not great, but okay.
Yeah, he's not having the best time, but it's now looking like a better time than it was before, because that was a really, really bad time. Is that about what
well,
we
he's
meant?
about 2 kills better off than he was about 45 seconds ago, so it's not going at all bad for the AD carry for Gamtee.
Looking a lot better now. Going to be able to finish off some more items. We'll see whether he decides to go for that Static Shiv before he finishes off that Infinity Edge, or whether he goes for that greedy build, trying to get as much flat damage as possible. Uzi, though, going to be clearing off this red buff. That Rend really doing some work. Getting the reset off the little guys as well is very cute.
Yeah, it certainly is. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an Infinity Edge come out of Tail here. He really doesn't need to be relevant at this point in the game. It's all about the Kassadin and the Lissandra.
He certainly listened to that.
He's just there for the late game. So as long as he can scale up nicely and be that late game carry, they really do have a great team comp of getting rid of the one threat that is currently on OMG's side. Because let's face it, Morgana, fantastic, does a lot of up burst, front burst damage, but after that Soul Shackles isn't really going to trouble a whole team. That's what Kallista's there for, and as far behind as Go-Going is, he's 4 kills behind Let.Me. Let.Me's having a terrific game, and Go-Going really hasn't been able to get going this time around.
That was a very, very funny pun. Very even is the CS there in the top side of the map, but you're right, those 4 kills going to be doing work here for Let.Me, and it's fantastic that he got them so early on as well, because that Rod of Ages has been stacking from about the 11-minute mark. Loveling now looking to put some pressure onto Tail here, as the bottom lane going to head down as well. That ward going to be cleared instantly by the excessive amounts of attack speed that Uzi has.
Yeah, and Tail now with the very greedy build goes an Avarice Blade in there as well. So looking to get some CC. They're still looking to pressure him, but he's got the support of his jungler and his support player coming through here. So not going to be pressured too much. Teleport also available for Let.Me. So no real good ward for him to be able to go to as Go-Going gets chased away by Xiaohu.
Yeah, Xiaohu using that Glacial Path to get himself very deep here, but OMG have control of this red side jungle of Gamtee. Sync Dream getting caught by Dark Binding and a Sonic Wave. That combination has been coming through quite a lot this game, and this inner turret is going down very low. Danger actually charging up the Vault Breaker here as low, threatening with a stun. Dark Binding going to land on a Sync Dream yet again, but he's pretty tanky. Top lane turret is going to go down to Let.Me though while this is all going on. And as you mentioned, that teleport is available. Go-Going now in that mid lane, pressuring the inner turret. And this bottom side, this next wave coming through low, actually tanking this one up. The Solar Flare gets the slow under low, but they wanted the stun. They wanted to make sure that they could delete that Annie before the Tibbers could come through, but unable to do so. And OMG might be able to take this tower now. They do easily as Uzi just hops through.
Yeah, the wrong target coming through. They need to make sure that they get the Assault and Battery down first onto Uzi, and then the Solar Flare is a follow-up. That's a very good combo to be able to ensure that no hops come through, especially when you throw the Q in there. And in response, Let.Me actually being able to pick up 2 turrets for his team, so that's a fantastic effort. Might even look to solo out the Jarvan here.
Yeah, trapped himself in the Cataclysm and realizes that that's actually the opposite of what he wants to do. There's Let.Me now with his Riftwalk available. The teleport to come through from Cool actually behind him here. Let.Me might be in a bit of trouble. Has his flash. Uses that Riftwalk yet again. Cool just flashes on top of him. Gets the Soul Shackles. There's the puddle and a spear to the head.
Yeah, really nice play there from Cool, but the response is a dive in the mid lane.
Oh, Uzi gets frozen tomb. There's the Assault and Battery for the slam dunk. Tail jumps over the top as well, and Loveling takes a lot of damage. This inner turret is now the focus for Gamtee.
Yeah, definitely a good move coming out there. We mentioned how good Lissandra is at always being able to dive the lockdown CC too much. This will mean another dragon actually going a spot across for Gamtee. So they swap 1 for 1 with a turret going to OMG, 2 in the favor of Gamtee, and now a dragon.
Yep, Dragon just spawning now. OMG looking to try and pressure this one out actually. Without Uzi, this could be quite dangerous. Loveling is pretty high on health. OMG now looking to go towards that mid lane. They discover that, yes, we do not have the ability to pressure this dragon, and OMG just clear out the mid wave. There's actually a flash into the solar flare as well from Sync Dream, but not able to make it stick. Let me teleporting in on top of Going here. Rift walks away.
This is a very strange match occurring right now, Atlas.
Jake.
They're flashing and trying to catch out low when there's a very big priority target in Uzi on the map. They can't really avoid that one. They're teleporting all over the place into the middle of 3 opposition members. Gamtee just trying to throw anything they can at OMG to catch them off balance. And you have to say, so far, it's actually working.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And Going hasn't had the greatest game, but he's gone for a Hydra straight up, not going for sort of the amazing J idea of picking up that Tiamat, then going full tank. He wants the full Hydra. He wants the extra lifesteal and all of that AoE damage as Tail. He wants a red buff, but the red buff seems to like Going quite a lot.
Yeah, so you would think that maybe it's Going's job this time around to get rid of Tail. So as long as he can do that, maybe happy to go more of an assassination Jarvan build. The problem is that there's just so much sustained damage that comes out of a Kassadin and Lissandra, 2 of the lowest cooldown mages in the game, and they're just going to do so much work. You couple that with the fact that Morgana on the other side of the Rift, one of the highest cooldown mage with only 2 damage abilities really, being that bind in the puddle after the ultimate goes on cooldown, just means that they're a little bit ill-equipped to deal with exactly what Gamtee are bringing to these mid-game team fights. So they need to be patient, need to really stall this one out, and get it to the point where they can make picks with their composition.
And you can see Low wanting to pick up that Mikhail's as soon as possible, make sure that Frozen Tomb isn't going to be another layer of CC to worry about. And this is what Callista's has had to deal with, is the Assault and Battery plus an extra layer of CC. And now with that Solar Flare as well, I mean, you almost can't build enough Mikhail's this game.
Yeah, the Solar Flare really is key, because that will be the second one. I think the Assault and Battery will go too far for Xiaohu to follow up first time around unless he's in terrific positioning. So it's a long-range Solar Flare, and then Xiaohu being able to get in there, or Let Me being able to blow him up. All the meanwhile, on the back end of these fights, Tail is scaling up nicely. He's still down about 40 CS, but he's been able to equalize that. Now picked up his Infinity Edge, looking for a Static Shiv next time around. So he will start doing some damage in these team fights.
Yeah, and actually Tail was down 40 CS at about 7 minutes into this game. So still keeping up with Uzi as far as progression is concerned. Of course, didn't have the early game that he wanted to, but it could have most definitely been worse. You have a very valid point. Now looking for another lane to farm in, and I think that Going's providing one of those for him.
Yeah, certainly is. Continuing to push in on the bottom lane, doesn't want to go near this Kassadin. They've actually picked up a lot of Merc Treads, recognizing that if they can avoid some of the CC coming out of Cool, then they're in a much better spot this game. Need to get maybe an Abyssal in there, though, because if you go for the Mercury Tread, you lack some of that penetration, and they're both going to really be relying on that. So would not be surprised if one of them was on Abyssal duty, probably Xiaohu.
Yeah, Xiaohu probably wants a little bit more of that cooldown reduction here as well. And having to sacrifice those Lucidity boots may actually hurt this guy.
Yeah, certainly. Mid lane Lissandra doesn't normally go for Lucidity boots, does go for the Magic Pen, and then just relies on having the blue buff. But you're right, having a, I guess, maximum cooldown reduction at all times on Lissandra is really good, just because you get that Q down to such a low cooldown.
Yeah, Going continuing split push duty here. Was a way that they were able to be successful in their last game, and he managed to pick up a kill for himself, is ahead in CS by about 10 at this stage, and clearing out the Krugs. More than happy just to hang out on his own is Going. He's had a solitary life today.
Yeah, I don't think he wants anything to do with teamfights at this point. Still relatively quick, squishy with only that Shroud being picked up. And we see in the bottom lane, it's actually being matched by the Tristana. So we've got 2 carries now, Going and Tail, that don't really want to fight. They just want to continue to farm. But you have to say that if you were Gamtee, you would be happy with that being matched with a Tristana for a late game.
Oh, of course. OMG now. They're positioning in this red side jungle, Dragon up in a minute and a half, so maybe a little bit early as far as that objective's concerned. Sentinels now patrolling this area, and Loveling just wanting to strangle the members of GT out of here. They haven't managed to clear that pink ward that's still hanging out in that Raptor brush.
Yeah, but now Uzi's shown in the bottom lane they need to be careful, because this might give a window for them to be able to get some work done mid. Looks like they actually send 2 members back. A minute till Dragon, so they need to really be able to get some vision control over the bottom half of their jungle, get some vision control over the Dragon area, and maybe try and pick up that objective. They're on 2. OMG have 1 so far, so a lot of pressure on Gamtee to be able to pick up the next Dragon.
Yeah, Uzi actually just picking up that Scuttle Crab as well, so Going to give them vision as that dragon spawns if Gamtee are going to be around there.
Yeah, Uzi actually must be sitting on a lot of gold. 1,500 actually as he backs away. So we'll be able to pick up actually a QSS. I was going to say the component of potentially a Last Whisper, but wants to stay healthy in these fights. Needs to be able to get away from Xiaohu as well as Sync Dream. So they've got the QSS. They've got the Mikhails. They're in a good position to keep Uzi alive. Let's see if they can execute it.
And see whether Xiaohu's going to just Frozen Tomb a different target perhaps. And it's going to be difficult making sure he knows exactly where that black shield is. Loveling takes a Q to the face. Xiaohu doing a lot of damage. Void Staff completed from him. The blasting one sitting in Letme's back pocket as well. Oh, Solar Flare's going to land. Gets a couple of slows here, but not exactly the CC that was needed on the side of Gamtee. Tail playing up very aggressively after Rocket jumping in. That's on cooldown for another 12 seconds. And Gamtee now wanting to put pressure around this dragon, but I don't know whether they've done quite enough work. Sync Dream gets caught there. The Sonic Wave going to land as well. Luo actually coming through with the Fate's Call as Sync Dream forced to flash away. Tibber's going to get killed. Danger gets kicked out of the Cataclysm here. Comes back in, and all the members of OMG getting torn apart, but it's going to be the Callista doing work in the backline. Tail discovered by Cool. Dark Binding not going to land. Let me. He's going to kill Loveling in the backline. Cool is just going to Zonya's like a boss, but he's going to get Force Pulse from the side, and Uzi's just looking for prey here as all the members on Gamtee with the CC are dead.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Uzi took that team fight over. Once again, just absolute confusion as to why Gamtee aren't engaging onto Callista, the only real threat at this point. But with 2 members up, they can still probably fight this because it's a very fed Kassadin, and Taylor, who's got 2 items, no, in the end deciding to back away.
Yep, just going to let the Rend destroy that dragon. They know that they probably can't contest that because Callista does so much damage. Let me still on the prowl.
Yeah, maybe looking for low here as he loops around. Doesn't elect to go over that wall, so smart move. Uzi just farming out a last minion wave, and he must have picked up a lot of gold. Yeah, another 1,500 in that team fight.
He's looking fantastic at this stage, but you have to think that that was a mistake on Gamtee's part to not really jump on that Callista.
Yeah, it certainly was. In the end, they even had to use Danger's ult very defensively. So yeah, definitely a mistake coming out from Gamtee, not being able to execute their team fight. And that's what they really struggled with last game as well. They were great in a pick situation, but the actual team fights and layering CC, they have been struggling with. The good news is, Let Me, Kassadin, absolutely massive. 6-1-0.
Oh, yeah.
Very good CS for a Kassadin as well. Now going back and picked up that Void Staff, so no one's elected to go for the Abyssal Scepter, instead going for that massive penetration, and they're going to be doing work in this team fight with the Kassadin, with the Lissandra.
Yeah, and with that 40% sort of flat magic penetration, you don't necessarily need sort of the flat option here, as the Tib is going to come down onto Sync Dream. That may not be the target they're looking for. Low gets caught up, but Fate's Call comes in as Uzi enters the fight. Loveling going to fall down. Going gets caught by the Frozen Tomb, but still manages to Cataclysm. Tail's going to fall down, but Uzi's dead as well after Tail gets the double kill. Cool, he gets the Soul Shackles. Nice Zonyas from Let Me. He is going to save him from that one, and this might be the triple kill for Kassadin. A double now as Sync Dream falls down for Cool. He uses his own Zonyas, but it may just be an answer before the end as the Dark Binding comes through. Cool, how are you still alive?
Yeah, Cool actually manages to survive to avoid the ace. In the end, 3 for 4 in Gamtee's favor. Much better layering of the CC that time round. Able to get onto the important carries and take them out. And a bit of an overextension from OMG, not expecting the teleport to come through from Let Me.
Yeah, and Let Me picking up another couple of kills for himself. 8-1-0 on this Kassadin. And Last Whisper now completed for Tail as well. He's been picking up a few kills in this fight. 4-2-5 now. Still the same difference in farm, but it's not too much of a problem because as he gets these levels to come through, level 14 now, that draw a bead is going to give him so much extra room to just keep himself safe.
And I never thought I would say this, Atlas, but that was the second execution of a professional LPL game, I believe. Danger falling down there, and it looks like it actually might spell a Baron for OMG.
Yeah, what did Danger actually die to?
The Raptors. He died to the Raptors.
Oh, man. We've said this so many times. Raptors are too strong. Glacial Tomb is going to come through here. Going actually getting caught up. And Baron still doing some work now on the members of Gamtee. Sync Dream, he's going to fall down. Look at that Soul Shackles from Cool, but Tail manages to finish him off. And look at the health bars are flashing on the side of OMG, and Tail is so healthy.
Yeah, and in the end, it was all a mind game, baiting OMG into a preferable fight. Baron did a lot of the damage, and the two AP mages happy to sweep in there and clean that one up. They might even grab a turret in the mid lane off it. Really well played by Gamtee.
And Cool unable to use that Zhonya's Hourglass because the Frozen Tomb had him locked down. Tail wants to get a couple of auto attacks onto that inhibitor turret, but unable to, as Uzi has swung around. And this Tristana is starting to get big.
Yeah, 5, 2, and 6 actually closed the gap a little bit. Uzi's still farming up a Storm, but doing absolutely fine for how far behind Tail has been and how much pressure Loveling put into that bottom lane. Props to Gamtee. They look like a terrific side tonight.
They certainly do, and Letme's score is definitely indicating that. 9-1-1, calling the police is Letme, and he's just certainly doing work.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's very, very, I guess, fed at this point in the game. Has another 1,000 gold, probably going towards that death cap, and you would think that this is the window now for Gamtee to really win this game with how strong they are.
Flash actually coming out immediately. Low getting chunked down. Danger's going to pick up that kill. Glacial Path's going to come through. Uzi uses his QSS. He's dancing around, but Frozen Tomb, you can't QSS that one if it's on cooldown. And Sync Dream, look at the Zenith Blade to come down on top of Loveling. He's so incredibly low, but they don't get the kill. Gamtee, though, 2 for nothing.
Yeah, this will probably also mean that the Baron will be started up as well. They have some very healthy members. Tail actually electing to take out the pink ward. They need to get a move on if they're going to do this one because Baron's still very, very much a healthy objective.
Oh, yeah, and it's only 30 minutes into this game. Baron does a lot of relevant damage to this tankless at the moment lineup. Of course, Danger still not picking up all of those big items that he needs to be the tank in this late game. That being said, he's got a great score for himself. Ahead in CS in comparison to Loveling, 4-3-4. Not too bad on this Vi. And 10-1-2 now for Letme.
Yeah, and Letme just having an absolute field day. Has a clear target to assassinate every time through these fights, and it's just leaping onto Uzi with reckless abandon. It must be a very good time to be able to follow up an assault and battery as a Lissandra.
Oh, yeah. Jahu almost with his Frozen Tomb back off cooldown. The Ignite's available there as well. Sync Dream took Ignite as well, we have to add onto this one. Very aggressive. OMG.
Maybe looking to fight.
Yeah, there's the Zenith Blade to come through. Sync Dream wants to tank up some of this damage. Xiaohu coming through with that Glacial Path. Luo gets stunned up here in the backside. And Tibber's down onto Danger, but Tail, he's coming and gets caught by a Dark Binding. Sync Dream not going to be found either. Cool coming through with a gigantic Soul Shackles. Only lands onto Danger though, and Cool just gets annihilated. Here's Letme with massive damage. Uzi is in so much trouble, and look at Tail. He's just going to rip him apart. And Gamtee, where have you been for the entirety of the LPL?
Clean ace, and once again, Xiaohu holding his ultimate till the second last member of the team was alive. It was Uzi again that got that Frozen Tomb in the head, and he is just getting picked on by this double assassin composition.
And Tail just happily tanking up this turret. Well, not too happily because he almost died, but they're going to be able to take down the inhibitor turret here as well. The Baron is still alive. Gamtee very low on health. They're going to take the inhibitor and maybe posture around that Baron yet again.
Yeah, maybe staying a little bit too long. Might actually give up a dragon for their trouble. I don't think that the Baron is in much danger, but all of a sudden, a 7,000 gold lead for OMG. And you have to think...
No, for Gamtee.
For Gamtee.
Yeah, and I understand you wanting to say OMG as well, because seriously, what is going on this game?
Yeah, but you have to seriously question the pick ban phase that came out of OMG. They got a strong bottom lane, but across the map, it just looks like they've been outclassed.
Yeah, and it's an unorthodox pick ban phase coming through, most definitely. We haven't seen going on this Jarvan too often. Gamtee going for the Baron for Dragon trade. Definitely getting the better out of this one. It is a nice scrying orb, going to spot them out here. As Tail's doing a lot of damage to this one. Letme, in the meantime, is just going to kill Low on his own in front of everyone. It's actually going to be Righteous Glory popped here. Tail launching himself onto this one. Loveling getting slowed down by that Solar Flare. Xiaohu tries to find his way in. Cool going to have to blow that Zhonya's, but 5 members, you are definitely dead, buddy. And Gamtee, they might even look to finish.
Yeah, no, they'll just rotate into the top lane. Second inhibitor on the offering right here. And Let Me just absolutely massive. Picked up that death cap and just does so much damage. 12, 1, and 6 coming up huge from the top lane.
Yeah, 4-item Kassadin as well. Look at these turrets melt as Gamtee just roll over OMG's base. And these Baroned up minions, they're not going to stop. This might be the end here. Fate's Call being blowed onto Luo there. Sync Dream trying to get some damage down. Low gets chunked out immediately. Going, getting annihilated. Tail is bouncing around these fights. The last inhibitor to go down. Uzi's still alive, dancing around the backside, but there's not too much he can do. Let Me right on top of him. The Nexus is going to fall down, and Gamtee come back and make this a 1-1.
Yeah, so we thought that maybe OMG might come out swinging because of how the first game went, but Gamtee actually able to tie that one up. And what a game.
That was absolutely beautiful coming out of Gamtee. You have to say maybe the pick and ban phase not quite working out for OMG, but let's check out another Gamtee play as we go into a replay.
Yeah, and this game was so fun to watch. This is a mid lane engage where Sync Dream tries about 3 times to get it started. So he goes in, nothing happened. He solar flares, nothing happens, and then they just stick with it. He goes in one last time right here, able to get it set up. Let Me just goes in and absolutely obliterates the backline. Cool, whilst getting a nice Soul Shackles, there's just nothing they can do against this Fed Kassadin. Look how long Zhao, who held his ultimate for. Tail, the beneficiary of that, bounces in for a kill. They turn it around, able to put a lot of pressure around that Baron area, and wow, what a game out of Gamtee.
Yeah, Gamtee looking fantastic there, and we understand now why they're here in the LPL. We didn't have too much to go on. These guys coming out through the LSPL, but my goodness, that was a beautiful game by Gamtee, and that is the last time they're going to get underestimated by one of these teams. But we still have more LPL action on the go. Our last matchup to come for you just after this break, guys. Don't go anywhere.